What the fuck is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video on the YouTube channel. I'm AJ. We're going to be talking MMA, so let's get into today's video. Today, I'm going to be going over the big problem with Aldo's UFC return. So, if you don't already know, Aldo's just unretired when it comes to the UFC, and his bout with Jonathan Martinez in Brazil on UFC 301 has been announced. So Aldo's been retired for about 1 year and a half now, coming off a loss to Merab Dvalishvili. He lost unanimously, 30-27 on the scorecards, and now he's coming back fighting someone a lot lower ranked, but who's still a big challenge for Jose Aldo. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over his fight with Jonathan Martinez, what happens if Aldo wins, and what happens if Aldo loses. So first, let's get into the matchup. So Jose Aldo is going to be fighting Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez right now in the bantamweight division is coming off 6 wins, creating quite a streak for himself. As you already know, Jonathan Martinez is known for his leg kicks, having the combined tied most knockouts by leg kick with Edson Barboza at 2. So Jonathan Martinez is quite a prospect, even more than a prospect now, I would say. At only 29 years of age, he's getting together a win streak like this with a very good record of 18-4 right now, or 19-4. And coming into this match with Jose Aldo, he really couldn't be more in form. Whereas Jose Aldo, it's a bit of the opposite. He's had his ups and downs in the bantamweight division, but he's looking to make a big statement here in his comeback. But I see it being a big challenge, as Aldo, he's very skilled, very technical on the feet, but however, age is unforgiving, and Jose Aldo is now 37 years old. I just don't see him having the speed to be able to keep up with Jonathan Martinez's kicking game. However, I do see an opportunity for Jose Aldo to take advantage of his superiority in boxing, as he could definitely land some nice combinations on Jonathan Martinez in the stand-up, specifically earlier on in the fight. So let's get into what would happen if Jose Aldo was to lose this matchup, as I predict he will. If Aldo loses this matchup and he chooses not to retire in Brazil in front of a big crowd, I would do one of the following matchups. Either he can fight down the rankings and fight Pedro Munoz, who's right now ranked number 15 in the bantamweight division. Jose Aldo already has a win over Pedro Munoz pretty recently. And if they were to fight right now, I believe Jose Aldo would win again. Pedro Munoz, he's good all around, but he's not particularly skilled in any area. And I don't think he's quicker than Jose Aldo either, as they're both 37 years old. So I would say Aldo's probably a bit faster than Munoz. It would probably be a standing battle for 3 rounds, but I just see Jose Aldo edging a decision. Or, maybe he could even hurt Pedro in the earlier rounds. If the UFC doesn't go with this matchup, then I would recommend Cody Garbrandt. Now obviously Cody Garbrandt is already booked for a fight against Davison Figueiredo on UFC 300. But as I and many others predict, Cody Garbrandt will most likely lose this matchup. This would leave him as an option for fighting Jose Aldo. Cody Garbrandt's currently out of the rankings in bantamweight. However, he's very close to breaking into the top 15. So, considering Jose Aldo was last ranked, I believe, number 11 before he retired, this would be a good matchup. They could compete for those higher rankings in the bantamweight division. I feel that Jose Aldo should be able to win that matchup versus Garbrandt, but we still don't know how Garbrandt's going to look versus Figueiredo, so it could be a very even matchup. But I still just think Aldo's going to be getting those leg kicks in. He might even be able to tag Cody Garbrandt, who has no chin. So he could even get a spectacular knockout there. But, yeah, as I said, we don't know about Garbrandt yet, but I would predict Aldo to win that matchup. And then he could retire on a win. But let's say Aldo wins versus Jonathan Martinez. So I've thought a bit about Aldo's potential road to the belt. If he's still hungry, if he still wants the belt, this is, I feel, the best way that he would have a chance at achieving championship status. So Rob Font, currently ranked number 9 in the bantamweight division, coming off a loss against Davison Figueiredo, would be a pretty favorable matchup, I'd say, for Aldo. As obviously Rob Font has very slick boxing, but Aldo, he has great boxing too. We even know recently, after he retired from the UFC, he's been competing here and there in boxing, so he's still sharp. I think this would be a close fight, but 3 rounds, maybe even 5 rounds on like a fight night main event. I can't see Aldo winning this pretty comfortably even, but yeah, we just don't know where Rob Font's at right now. He could be on a bit of a downwards trajectory in his career, but at the same time, he'd be very game versus Aldo. But he's also not that highly ranked. So for someone like Aldo, this is like the worst case plan for the belt, I'd say, since he'd have to fight Rob Font and then fight another guy. But moving on, if he instead just beats Jonathan Martinez and can get a big bump up, and like the way I was thinking about this is that this would have to be a title eliminator, this next matchup, as those like top 4 guys in the division, I just don't see Aldo having any chance against them. Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen, Merab. We already know how some of those matchups have went, and I just don't see how Aldo would do any better this time. So Chito Vera, currently ranked number 5, coming off a pretty embarrassing defeat to Sean O'Malley. I would say Aldo does have a good chance to win this matchup. It depends, 3 rounds or 5 rounds. The thing is, anybody can beat Chito Vera, and most people are beating Chito Vera until they lose. Meaning that once he lands that shot that, people thought he could have landed against O'Malley, but he just didn't show any will to win that fight. But if he pulls that off against Aldo, he definitely could sleep Aldo with a head kick or something like that, or just hit him really hard to the body over and over again. This matchup, it is winnable for Aldo, as I see him being the minute winner versus Vera. He already has a win over Chito Vera. So the question is just how much have the fighters developed or regressed since that first fight. But I do see Aldo having a good chance to win this. And then lastly, I've chosen Henry Cejudo. So this fight would be interesting. Both, are getting older, not as good as they used to be. And if it was 3 rounds, I think it would be a very exciting, close 29-28 to either fighter. It really just depends on who gets their game plan going. Last fight, Henry Cejudo, he looked alright first round, but then he just slowed down so heavily. I believe it was due to illness, but let's say it wasn't. Then Aldo should have all the tools available to beat Cejudo over 15 minutes or even over 25. And considering both Chito and Cejudo are top 5 and top 6, the ideal world for Aldo would be that he beats one of these guys and then gets an immediate title shot. But obviously, I've not even included the champion Sugar Sean O'Malley in this road to the belt, as I just don't see him having any chance against whoever the current champion will be after any of these potential matchups. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think Aldo, is he going to have a brilliant return? Does he have a chance to, make a heroic last run for the belt? Or is he just washed and is it going to end horribly? As I think it will. I don't think he beats Martinez. And then he should retire right then in Brazil. But he could have a good chance against those other matchups in Pedro Munoz and Cody Garbrandt if he is to lose. So let me know, subscribe, leave a comment, do all those things. Remember, Lucas Tracy, I'll still sleep you kid. So see you guys in the next one.